CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
Coming up, a man is facing charges after an alleged incident at the ARH psychiatric facility.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. A Perry County man working as a security guard is charged with sexual abuse and unlawful imprisonment after an incident police say happened at the ARH Psychiatric Center in Hazard. WYMT's Zach Hawk has more on the case.
21-year-old Jackson Baker of Gaze Creek is facing felony charges after an incident in late January involving a patient at the Appalachian Regional Healthcare Psychiatric Center in Hazard.
On January 24th of this year, we received information and obtained an arrest warrant for Jackson Baker.
Baker worked as a security guard for Fast Staff Security at the facility. The police warrant charges him with first-degree sexual abuse and second-degree unlawful imprisonment. HPD officer Jordan Childers responded to a call from the legal guardian of the 25-year-old alleged victim.
Childers conducted a thorough investigation, and at the conclusion of that investigation, determined that there was probable cause to make an arrest.
The warrant says Baker groped the victim, tried forcing his hands on inappropriate areas, kissed her on the mouth, and wrote his phone number on a piece of paper he put in her bra. An attorney for the victim's guardian says the alleged assault took place in the course of an hour.
There's no excuse that an already disabled woman who was reporting, again, for suicidal ideations, be left alone with a male security guard for such an extended period of time.
Baker is out on bond and awaiting arraignment on March 8th. In Perry County, Zach Hawk, WYMT Mountain News.
ARH officials say they cannot comment on an active investigation. State police are continuing to investigate a sexual assault case involving a dog in Breathitt County. Troopers tell us they arrested and charged 30-year-old Andrew Bennett with one count of sexual crimes against an animal. He's waiting for his preliminary hearing, which could be later this week or next.
Depends on how lengthy the court process takes. There'll be several steps, a preliminary hearing, and then on possibly a jury trial if that goes that far. So we'll just have to wait and see.
We are told the dog, named Hope, received treatment and is being cared for by the group Aspire Appalachia. Two state lawmakers filed a bill that would eliminate the statute of limitations for victims of child sexual abuse. This legislation is headed by State Senator Morgan McGarvey and Representative Lisa Wilner and would allow civil cases to be filed at any time. Senator McGarvey says the bill was brought to him by a constituent who was severely abused as a child. Representative Wilner says there is no reason for the law to impose an arbitrary time limit on disclosures.
The goal of our legislation is to make sure that those abused as children have every opportunity to file civil claims against their abusers or people who may have helped the abusers in any way as part of their healing process.
Psychologists say Kentucky is the #1 state in the country per capita when it comes to child sex abuse crimes. In Laurel County, the sheriff's office has arrested 27-year-old Jonathan Carpenter. He's charged with second-degree burglary. The sheriff's office says Carpenter broke into a home off Mount Zion Road and took items before driving off. They say Carpenter was arrested last night. A former Kentucky State Police recruiter is suing KSP and the Kentucky Justice and Public Safety Cabinet for defamation. Captain Michael Webb says he was unfairly represented and reassigned over the January 6th Capitol riot. The Lexington Herald-Leader reports that his attorneys say Webb was sightseeing in Washington, D.C. the day of the riot, but was not involved. Attorneys told the Herald-Leader Webb has suffered post-traumatic stress, depression, and anxiety after being reassigned. An internal KSB investigation last February cleared Webb of any wrongdoing. Kentucky's longest-serving congressional member is being accused of poking and cussing at another member of Congress. Congresswoman Joyce Beatty of Ohio tweeted this afternoon that she asked Congressman Hal Rogers to put on his mask while the two were boarding a train at the Capitol to head to the House floor for a vote. Beatty claims the 84-year-old Rogers poked her in the back and told her to get on the train. The Congresswoman says she then told Rogers not to touch her. She says he responded to her with an expletive. During a news conference today, members of the Congressional Black Caucus condemned Rogers.
Because who does Harold Rogers think he is? How dare he put his hands on anyone, man, woman, or child? How dare he assault Joyce Beatty? How dare he jab her aggressively in the back? How dare he verbally attack her? How dare he say, "Kiss my ass"? Who do you think you are?
Now, in a statement, Congressman Rogers says, quote, "This afternoon I met with Congresswoman Beatty to personally apologize. My words were not acceptable and I expressed my regret to her first and foremost." Beatty later said she accepted his apology.
And a quiet afternoon turning into and has turned into a quiet evening. On our way to a quiet overnight here in the mountains. High pressure pushing on out. Still keeping skies clear though as we head through the night. I-64 at Moorhead at the moment. You see what's going on, and that is not much. Darkness fell several hours ago, and we're all quiet on the interstate right now. Same story, very quiet downtown scene in Whitesburg right now, sitting at 36, cooler number around the region. We are seeing, however, some of those sheltered valley spots getting a bit lower than temperatures you see here. Notice most of us mid to upper 30s, even low 40s at this hour. Monticello already, though, at 26. It's Jacksboro at 28, Middlesboro at 29, Harlan at 32, and we're seeing even lower numbers, again, in some of those sheltered valley locations. So you may see some slightly cooler weather tonight, especially if you kind of go a little bit lower in elevation in some of those hollers. It's going to be a little bit cooler as you head into the overnight hours. It's clean sweep on pinpoint Doppler. That's part of the reason we're going to be able to drop those temperatures. No clouds whatsoever to speak of around the region as we head through tonight. Many of us will be milder. Some of us, though, seeing, again, those colder temperatures. Vast majority of us low 30s for overnight lows tonight. But we've got some changes on the way. I'll have the details on that coming up in just a little bit. Steve?
Evan, thank you. The most recent flooding in the region has some homeowners waiting for answers about assistance, but some people in Pike County are still working through what the waters left behind during flooding last August. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more on an attempt from one administration to aid in those efforts.
The Small Business Administration is offering a small hand up for the people of Pike County.
I felt like we're really fortunate to be able to get this.
After floodwaters poured through the eastern reaches of the county in August, people felt they were left out to dry.
You can tell on the walls how deep it was.
You know, we weren't able to get a individual assistance through FEMA on this, but with SBA potentially being able to help them is I thought was a great thing.
This week, Pike County officials announced the county's inclusion in the SBA's Virginia Disaster Assistance Loan Program.
Some people have actually had to file seconds on their house just to be able to repair them.
Homeowners can apply for up to $200,000 to replace or repair real estate.
What's left of my gas farm?
And up to $40,000 to repair or replace personal property. That personal property loan is also available to renters.
Say that they extended themselves and they do have credit, and then maybe they put it on credit cards just to get their houses back in order, get the repairs made.
Businesses and organizations can apply to borrow up to $2 million for repairs. Emergency Management Director Nee Jackson says this low-interest loan opportunity could be a lifesaver for those who are barely keeping their head above.
It never fails when somebody has a disaster happen, even a fire, that they'll say, you know, I just had to cancel my insurance because I couldn't afford it. And, you know, unfortunately now, that's one of the things that people, you know, they have to make decisions because of the economy.
He is hopeful that those who can will research the option and take advantage of the opportunity. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Find out more about who is eligible and how to apply on our website or by calling the Pike County Emergency Management Office for more guidance at 606-432-0210. Well, February is American Heart Month, a time dedicated to promoting awareness and knowledge surrounding heart health across the country. A time with a bit of extra meaning in the Commonwealth, since Kentucky is one of the states where heart disease is the leading cause of death. But heart disease can be difficult to diagnose since it can very easily go unnoticed.
Sometimes, however, the first evidence of somebody having coronary artery disease or any other cardiovascular disease is an event like a heart attack.
Dr. Burchett says it's important to know the risk factors like family history, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol to better protect yourself from heart disease. Inspired by the new beginning she sought out in her own life, Rachel Jenkins of Somerset created a New Beginning Achievement Center, which is dedicated to serving adults with intellectual, developmental, and behavioral diagnoses. The facility provides an individualized approach to learning and focuses on the needs of each student and the goals they would like to achieve. The center provides lessons on banking, driving, self-esteem, and even offers a vocational program that can teach students what it's like to work various jobs in a controlled environment.
I think that's what has drawn me to this, is that I actually get to do what God put on my heart to do, and that is to make a difference for each one of these guys. Like, just to make sure that they have the tools that they need and the support that they need to be able to do what they want to do with their lives, just like any of the rest of us. So.
Jenkins says her and her team are working on a What's Next program that will provide subsidized housing and additional support to students who graduate from the center. West Virginia Governor Jim Justice has signed a bill eliminating the state's ban on nuclear power plants. But the governor cautions against jumping in to diversify the coal-dependent state's energy offerings. Justice said in a letter Tuesday that any development or placement of nuclear technologies must be done thoughtfully and safely, adding that lawmakers must continue to research and monitor nuclear initiatives to ensure appropriate regulatory or safety measures are in place. The state's ban on nuclear plants was originally enacted in 1996. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, following weeks of setbacks due to snow and ice, we'll hear from transportation officials about overdue road repairs in the Big Sandy.
And our tranquil pattern continues this week as high pressure continues to stay put, at least temporarily. I've got the very latest on the way next.